Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Just a quick post-fight review for Liam Smith versus Jessie Vargas. Of course this fight was on the undercard of Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. Now, I haven't watched that fight, and nor will I have no interest. However, this Liam Smith versus Jessie Vargas fight was a really good scrap. There were some great exchanges, both guys were cut open, there was blood, there was guts. Really good fight, man, really good fight. I expected this one to deliver. Liam Smith usually, well, he's never really in a bad fight, Liam Smith. He'll always try to apply pressure, make it a fight, be rough, etc. And Jessie Vargas himself, while he's more of a boxer, he's been in some pretty good fights as well over the years. So, yeah, I was expecting a good fight here, and it really delivered. First 4 rounds, man, were very entertaining. The first 4 were very competitive. I've got to be honest, going into this fight, I felt that Jessie Vargas would try to keep this long, try to stay away from Liam Smith and use his feet to keep distance. However, Jessie Vargas elected to trade with Liam Smith, which was the wrong strategy in my opinion. Jessie Vargas, of course, started at 140, fought at 147, now he's coming up to 154. Trading with a bigger, stronger man in Liam Smith, you know, wasn't a good idea, especially considering how strong Liam is on the inside. He can move you about in there. Very strong guy. And yeah, Jessie Vargas holding his feet early on. Not the right tactics, but it made it a really good fight. And Jessie Vargas early on was able to time and tag Liam Smith with a fair bit of regularity. Liam Smith always comes forwards behind his tight high guard in a bit of a crouch. And Jessie was able to punch in between Liam Smith's punches, and he was getting some good work off. Rocking the head back of Liam Smith. Liam Smith would come back with more close quarters work, hooks to the body, hooks to the head, uppercuts through the middle, that sort of thing. He was primarily working on the inside, whereas Jessie Vargas was throwing power shots from the outside and at mid-range. Despite Jessie having success in the first 4 rounds, and I had it 2 rounds apiece after 4, despite Jessie having success, you could tell that this sort of fight was taking a lot more out of him than it was Liam Smith. Liam Smith always looked comfortable, he always looked composed, whereas Jessie Vargas looked like he was a guy who was expending a lot of energy. You could just tell that this sort of fight favoured Liam Smith. Round 4 was a really good round. Jessie Vargas, against the ropes, actually timed Liam Smith coming in with, I believe, a right hand, and he landed a series of flush right hands after that. Kind of knocked Liam Smith back. Didn't really hurt him in my opinion, but knocked him back, and they were clean shots. Liam Smith then came back with some big shots of his own, overhand right to the head, some serious looking body shots. Round 4 was a really good tear up, and by this point, I believe both guys were cut in round 4. I think Liam Smith might have got his cut in round 3 or round 4, and maybe Jessie got his in round 5. So yeah, both guys were cut, and round 4 onwards, to me it was basically just Liam Smith dominating the fight. He was the guy applying pressure in that kind of turtle defense, that guard, nice and crouched. He was absorbing what Jessie Vargas had to offer, blocking some shots on the gloves and walking through others. Jessie was still landing shots, but they were having no effect on Liam, whereas Liam would come in, lead with his right uppercut, hook to the body, land combinations, etc. And he was really working over Jessie Vargas, and you could tell round by round that the energy was sapping out of Vargas, largely due to the strength and body shots of Liam Smith. So yeah, after round 4, it was basically Jessie getting beaten up, and you could tell that he was gassing, and he was really tired, but Jessie showed a lot of heart in there. He took a beating, but the fight was mercifully waved off in round 10, when Liam Smith hurt Jessie, I believe with an overhand right or a right uppercut, something like that. Liam then kind of bounced on him, landed a series of shots, and the referee jumped in to wave it off. I saw a few people saying that it was premature, but given how that fight was going, I felt it was a good stoppage. Jessie Vargas couldn't hurt Liam Smith. He was getting outworked, he was getting beat up, And at that point, in my opinion, he couldn't really win the fight. Quite frankly, I felt he lost far too many rounds. So I felt the stoppage was good. Jessie Vargas, he's been a good pro, actually been a 2-weight world champion. He was a champion at 140. Well, some sort of champion, maybe a WBA regular champion. And he was a full-fledged champion at 147. So Jessie Vargas has had a good career. But now I think it's time to hang it up for him. As for Liam Smith, you know, he lives to fight another day. I mean, I would really like to see Liam Smith versus Tim Tszyu. I think that's a really good fight. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that fight as a final eliminator for the WBO. I think that would be a really good fight. But, you know, Liam Smith's a weird one. Liam Smith is a guy who, in my opinion, has been somewhat underrated by UK fans, just in regards to how he goes about his business. He always comes to fight. You know, he's a tough dude. He's not been scared to fight good opposition. Is he world class? In my opinion, no. I know he was a former world champion, but he won that as a vacant title. Liam Smith's one of those guys. He's never going to beat the elite of the division, but he's on the periphery of the top 10. He's that sort of fighter. He's well above domestic level. He's above European level, in my opinion, but he's not quite elite. If Liam Smith had crunching power, like devastating power and more speed, he would be a serious problem, because Liam Smith has some really good skills on the inside in regards to lead hand control, head positioning, creating angles for himself, etc. Liam's got some really good skills on the inside, but just missing a few things, you know. Not quite all. He's not all that dynamic. He's not that quick. He's got decent power, but nothing crazy. If he had a couple more physical attributes, he would be a serious fighter. But yeah, Liam Smith, he lives to fight another day. Again, I'd like to see him fight Tim Tszyu. But what about you guys? Where do you see him going next? Share your thoughts below. Peace.